So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back once again to the greatest watch market update show. You guys know that this is a public service watch announcement. The only thing we do here is giving you information that you guys need, to defend yourself from all these hoodwinks and hucksters out there. They have something on me. I don't want to tell you what it is, but they got something on me. They want me out. They can't get me out because Sweet Kid Kino protects me with his gang. Kino has a gang. So just to let you guys know that this is a public service watch announcement channel. All right, guys? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you again today because I must continue to tell you this until it penetrates your brain cells. Ladies and gentlemen, the watch market is dead. The watch market is dead, and many of your favorite YouTubers, I don't feel bad, YouTubers are just saying it, that the watch market is upside down. Upside down, ladies and gentlemen. An example, we have a gentleman on this watch group here, in this channel, organic watch channel, that he is looking for an FP Journe, aluminum, unbelievable, this watch, very, very expensive watch. And we're going to try hard to get him this watch because he really wants it. He's one of your army boys, he salutes the owl, salutes the owl. So we have to support him, right? So we're going to help him out with that. We're going to help him out with that subject because he really wants this watch. It's an FP Journe, like I'm telling you, it's one of those line sports. It's unbelievable. Beautiful watch. Beautiful. And we're going to help him with that watch. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to continue, getting it through your head that the watch market is dead. Get it through your head. The watch market is dead. These people are going mad. They don't know what to do. They don't know. And I'm going to tell you another secret, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to tell you another secret today. A little small one, but it's for your information. All those little lambones and palomos that were out there buying, those tickets, those tickets, raffle tickets, and you know what I'm trying to say, raffle and sweepstakes is running out, ladies and gentlemen. It is running out. The people are getting wise. I talked to you about how that is done a long time ago, like in chapter 13. I explained to you how that's run, how they do it, and how they give it to you, right? But already, the raffles and sweepstakes is almost over, Está mal. Those people need to start working for real, working for real because la situación está jodida. No hay dinero por la calle. Coño, this guy said it at the same time I said it, man, bullish. I said it, he said, boom, he put it there. There's no money in the street. No hay dinero por la calle, caballero. You guys don't understand because you guys have a couple of coins in your piggy bank and you're good. Pero la situación está caótica, chaotic. It's chaotic out there. People are biting each other, not physically, but they're biting each other. Wasn't that unbelievable? That was a glitch from the Matrix. At the same time we said it both, boom, we said it. So I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, to know this, be careful how you're spending your money. I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, smart money is staying away from luxury goods. We all love luxury goods, ladies and gentlemen. I love, luxury goods. I love them myself. But I have to understand that the situation is not good out there. The situation está mala. You got to be smart. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I wasn't thinking about this, but, that city over there, that city, that where that guy wants to put, freeze the rent, over there, freeze the rent. La situación está jodida ya, papi, está jodida. La situación, you're going to see people, man. You're going to see people in a different form. I am telling you, ladies and gentlemen, get ready. I told you there was going to be a dark winter. I told all of you, but no. You guys didn't really want to, hear that stuff. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to give you what's happening out there. And I'm trying to do it, ladies and gentlemen. All right? So be smart with your money. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you a little bit about precious metals because we're not going to give up on precious metals. No. We got to tell you what's happening. The price of palladium is at $1,389 a troy ounce. Platinum is at $1,539 a troy ounce. And silver is at $47.60 a troy ounce, all right? And your favorite one, gold, pure gold, 24 karat. Don't pay more. And I mean, don't pay more. No, the price of gold is $3,994, 39.94. Right, guys? This is just like I'm telling you, it's a roller coaster ride. That's all this is, a roller coaster ride. Okay, 48.16, $48.60, 16 cents is silver. Thank you very much, Sodi, for helping me out with that. Thank you very much. So you know what's going on with those, and gold is at $3,998.40. This is unbelievable. You know, this is your channel. This is your channel, and you can say whatever you want. Even if you disagree with what I have to say, it doesn't bother me. I don't give a hoot. You can say whatever you want. Just don't use no foul language and don't bully nobody in the channel. You know that? If you bully somebody in the channel and you use foul language, I'll be the first to tell you, Kino is going to just ban you. Okay? Yes, we let you know what's going on, but we don't care what you put on. You know, you want to have it out with me, we can have it out with nice words. Palabras inteligente, intelectual. You know? So there it is. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a big day today. You know, it wasn't today, it was yesterday. It was November the 5th, ladies and gentlemen. I spoke to you about this subject, you know, I spoke about this subject around in 3 different live streams. And I explained to you many things about what's happening, you know, what's happening with the situation with Geneva, you know, with Geneva and you know, and the tariffs and all that good stuff. And I explained to you that I went so much to tell you that Rolex hasn't, you know, rising the prices up because they've been rising it up for the last 4 years because, you know, I tell you the story why they're doing it because you guys continue to buy and watch, so they just keep on, you know, raising and raising and raising and raising prices, right? But ladies and gentlemen, these people are very sneaky. They're very, very sneaky, and they do things that it is incredible the way they do things. You know, while you guys were sleeping, these guys were all together there. You know, those guys were all together, sitting down. What you can see there in that picture, it might not look nothing to you, but right there sitting down, you have the Rolex, you know, unbelievable people, and the Richmond people, you know, sitting down with the gentleman from Pennsylvania Avenue. Take a look see at this picture, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about one unbelievable watch company, which is Rolex, and the other one is a very, very big umbrella, you know, Richmond. You know, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Richmond, ladies and gentlemen. And these people were all there. They were all there together. They were all there laughing and making jokes and talking about these beautiful watches. You know, it's unbelievable. You know, all the representatives were there, you know. Los representantes, you know, they go there, you know. These people are unbelievable. These people from Geneva, you know, these are the most 2 powerful, you know, umbrella and watch brand in the world. Don't ever forget that. Don't think for a moment they're not. They are. They're the most powerful one in the world. They're the most powerful one in the world. And ladies and gentlemen, they were together very, very early. They were there together. They were very early together, you know, talking about with a guy from Pennsylvania Avenue. And I explained to you, you know, a couple of months ago, I explained to you that the people, you know, the CEO, CFO, you know, those big shots from Rolex. At that moment, Rolex, those 2 people got in the plane with 4, 6 secretaries with them from Rolex, and they flew to Washington, D.C., you know, from Geneva, and they went in there to the, you know, the house in Pennsylvania Avenue to talk to the guy, you know, Pennsylvania Avenue. They talked to him over there, and, you know, and they talked a little bit, you know, and, you know, this is an office from the President of the United States of America, that we take care of the world, what's happening in our country and the world too, you know. But you know what it is, that the king of watches is in the White House sitting down with the president. You know, the king, don't ever forget, the king is unbelievable. They were sitting down, and, you know, they were trying to, you know, talk about the tariffs, you know, about the 39%, 31, all that good stuff. I explained to you And Trump just said, whoosh, 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 get out of here, get out of here. And they left. And they left. And I explained to you about that. If you look at chapter, maybe Damon can tell me what chapter that was, or Mr. Donut can tell me, or Thurston Howard can tell me what chapter that was when I explained to you all about that, Papi, I was on point. If you go back to that video, you say, coño, man, we didn't look at this real well. And this guy was telling us, chapter 37. There it is, chapter 37, ladies and gentlemen. Chapter 37, you have it there. And I explained to you, remember, thank you very much, Papi Grande. Gracias, Papa. That makes me feel real good. Thank you, Papa. This is square business. I gave it to you, and some of you were picking your noses. And what is he talking about? And I told you the whole thing, Papi. It came out like I said. But this time, they flew from Geneva, from, over there, Geneva, from the Rolex. They flew again. But another umbrella, this is an umbrella that they have all these watches under their umbrella. It's called, have you guys ever heard of Richmond? Have you guys heard of Richmond? Just told me no, and I continue quickly. Or yes, and I continue because now I know you know about Richmond. Okay, I see that nobody. Okay, yes, we know. Yes. So this other company, they talked to the king, and they said, "You're gonna go over there. You don't mind that we go over there." If you don't know this, the Richmond company, they have under the umbrella. They have La Cartier, which they're the owners, La Cartier. They have La Piaget, Cartier, Piaget, IWC, Panerai. If you know some of them, let me know. Roger Dubuis, Montblanc, Lang & Son, Van Cleef & Arpels, Jaeger LeCouture, Boumassier, Bacheron Constantin, and a designer company, which I like to wear their clothing, their shirts, shorts. I like their clothes. Peter, I don't know if you guys know who Peter Millar. Peter Millar. They got that guy too. These people son unos monstruos. They're monsters. What they have there is top of the line. I'm leaving things out. I'm just giving you a little bit of something. But have you heard of also Watch Finder? Finder Watch or Watch Finder? You know about that one? That one, Watch Finder, Find Me a Watch, whatever you call it. También is theirs too. They have all this, corner. They have everything corner. So they spoke over there to the people. You know what I'm talking about. That's very good. And they went over there to explain to them the situation that they have, and it's unbelievable that you have Rolex and this other company, Richmond, there together, sitting down, looking at the president. As you can see back there, the son is standing, his son with his wife, and all the heads of Richmond and Rolex, and they're talking. Ladies and gentlemen, I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that the only watch brand that can make that leapfrog and enter an Oval Office to talk about watches is the king. The king. Richmond es una rata. Richmond es una rata. El King Kong es la Rolex. Richmond is a rat. And the King Kong is Rolex. And they took him for a ride. They flew all together. Everybody flew together. Because, ladies and gentlemen, they don't want to play around with that 39% tariff. They don't. Papi, you know what I'm talking about. But, ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you something. Where credit is due, credit is due. You give credit where credit is due. And that guy, that guy from Pennsylvania Avenue, he's unbelievable. This guy is not a political material. Let's be honest, I don't care what party you belong to, or to the red or to the blue. To me, es la misma mierda con diferente peste. It's the same shit with different smell. I don't care what party you belong. But that guy from the White House, Pennsylvania Avenue, he's unbelievable. If you take a look-see at his father and his mother, from Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania Avenue has a father and a mother. The father had these things, eyebrows, they were this long. They were like that, crooked, Unbelievable. The mother had a real big hair, you know? Unbelievable. But this kid was taught, you know, to the max how to make money. Whether he declares himself bankruptcy or not bankruptcy, he knows how to make money. And ladies and gentlemen, you have those people, they're sitting down there. They're sitting con el papá de Tarzán, you know, Tarzán. They're sitting with him, ladies and gentlemen. You know, this is unbelievable. When you hear what I'm going to say, you're going to say, okay, he said it. He said it in chapter 37, like Damon told me in chapter 37. I explained to you who this guy is. You know, when they went that time and they didn't come into no kind of agreement, exactly, Queens, exactly. You know, they ran, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. You know, this man has the power to do what he wants. You know, like when he gave out some checks to the people in our country, he wanted to sign it with his name. You guys don't know about that. Let me drink a little jungle juice so I can relax, you know, a little jungle juice, my pumpkin, you know, I got a new one now, you know. When he gave all that free money away, he was suggesting that maybe he can sign it with his name. He said, unbelievable, this man, you know. Some people are, I'm going to use the word narcissist in a good way and in a bad way. Some people use narcissist in two ways, you know, in a good way and a bad way. I don't know which way he's using it, but like that, you know, like a seesaw, you know. So he said that back then when he was giving money out, checks and all that stuff. He even talked about making a bill with his face. Unbelievable, this guy, you know? Unbelievable. And ladies and gentlemen, like I'm telling you, this guy is all business. Forget about politics. This guy is all business. The first time, it was a warning. Go, shoosh, shoosh, shoosh. And they just came Rolex by himself. They came by themselves, you know, with the lead people, you know, 2 or 3 guys, the lady, go home. But the U.S. Open came around. You see how you know? Grande, eres grande, papá. Eres grande. And I told you everything, but you guys, look at that guy. So they invited him over there, VIP. They gave him a couple of U.S. Open tennis hats, you know, a couple of balls signed from the tennis players, you know, everything, a whole floor for him, you know. It's unbelievable, these people. That guy's unbelievable. That you know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say. And then they gave hats. You know, they gave hats to the Secret Service, hats and all that. They had chicken fingers, chicken wings. They had all that for him, and he's sitting there, you know. The guy from Pennsylvania Avenue sitting there. You're looking at the match. So you're keeping track, right? They first came. They took him to the U.S. Open, you know. They passed him in the back. They told him, you're the best. He likes to be told that he's the best, you know. Saludos, saludos Randy, saludos Randy, saludos. You know, he likes to be told he's the best and he's good and he's an unbelievable president, you know, all that good stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, these two companies came. Estos son los elefantes de la selva. These are the elephants of the jungle, you know, de la selva. These two people, Richmond and Rolex, they are the two elephants from the jungle, you know, from the jungle. But let's be honest, the real, you know, elephant is this guy right here, you know, the Serengeti. There you go. Thank you for helping me out. You know, the Serengeti. And I keep on telling you, this kid, when the father had him, he was taught, man. You know, this kid was walking around in his wallet, you know, in his wallet back then when they sent him to TAPS. He went to the, you know, to that, you know, army school, you know, TAPS over there, you know, salute. He was a cadet. You don't know about this, ladies and gentlemen, you know. You know it, Wicked. Rolex is the king of the jungle. Don't ever forget that. Don't ever forget that, ladies and gentlemen. And, you know, he knows too much. You got to be honest, ladies and gentlemen. You know, to be sitting where he's sitting, he has to know somebody. You know, he has to know the Bilderbergers. He has to know the Saluting the Owl, you know, in Bohemian Grove. You know what I'm trying to say? He needs to know somebody big to be sitting. I want you guys to know something. And I'm going to say this very, very quickly and, to the point. Don't ever think that your vote and my vote makes a decision. A president has been selected years ago. That's all I got to tell you. That's all I got to tell you. But you do whatever you want with your brain. It's your brain. Just don't put in your brain the word stupid. Don't do that, all right? So, ladies and gentlemen, they were all sitting there, and they were talking about the situation of the tariffs. How do I know? I don't know it. I just allegedly, I imagine, But this guy is too much, ladies and gentlemen. If you were smart and you heard what I said, you were onto something. I tell you that when he was giving free money out there, he wanted to sign it with his name. President, you know what I'm saying? President Pennsylvania Avenue. He wanted to sign it, but they didn't let him, They said, you cannot do it. He was thinking one day to make a bill with his face. They didn't let him either. And then he made some watches for you people. They're all over social media. Watches with his name. Pennsylvania Avenue. It come with a red dial, all those colors, One that said it had gold. This, cheapy stuff like fossil watches, But ladies and gentlemen, this guy is unbelievable, bro. Does anybody know what I'm going to say? Does anybody have an idea where I'm heading with this? I just want to know if anybody knows where I'm heading with this. Because I had to do this today. Say it, Juan, say it. Okay, Doc Maker, Florida. You're not... Renato! Oh, no! Oh, my God. Look at that deal. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, my God. I'm not saying is that. I'm only saying what Renato wrote down. And that guy, ese tipo la tranca, ese tipo la tranca. You got to give credit, you give it, and that's it. He's not a president. He's a businessman. And he wanted to sign the checks that they give you for free. Those checks they were giving out, he wanted to sign it, but they said no. The other guy said, he's a negotiator, papi. El tipo es un monstruo. El tipo es un monstruo. And I honestly believe, ladies and gentlemen, this is just my personal opinion because, we're seeing something exactly, man. Grande, it's big. What I want to say, because I was talking to some people today regarding that subject, and he says they told me, and I felt real happy. Excuse me, they told Sweet Kekino, because he's the one that writes all this. He's the owner of this channel. I'm just a voice. I'm just a voice, I'm just a voice. And it wasn't, people were thinking that he was asking for a Rolex Daytona, for him and for Melania, whatever her name is. They were asking for another Rolex, pink dial. People thinking about that he's asking for all these things, that the president, from Pennsylvania Avenue is asking for that, for Le Mans and all that stuff. And then you see his son, he's the one that he's the second tallest one. He's like around 6'6", 6'5", with his wife. He was thinking they were, asking for matching date, platinum, Rolex watches, because esta gente son una jodienda. La mente de esta gente es tan larga. It's so long in the way they see things that me and you cannot see it, Well, I said it wrong. Keno sees a little bit. He does. Keno sees a little bit, and he even started laughing when he saw the picture of the Oval Office, two giant watch companies, sitting down, And I think, I believe that they have some kind of an agreement there somewhere. but I believe that they're gonna have to, I'm telling you, if it's not both of them, if it's not Rolex and Richmond with, with Vacheron Constantin, with Mont Blanc, with Jaeger LeCouture, with Lang and Son, IWC, you know what I'm saying? Allegedly, allegedly. I don't want no thunder lightning in my TV tower and the show finishes. I have to tell you things the way they are. And this is the reason I did this today, to tell you what's happening. And you heard it first here. Nobody's going to tell you what I'm telling you today. Remember, I am number one to tell you this. And they also made some sneakers. Sneakers. They made sneakers. And they were selling sneakers all over the place. With the name, his name, Pennsylvania Avenue, and all that good stuff. And people were going crazy in Sneaker Con, buying sneakers. And a Lambon from over there, from Pennsylvania Avenue, over there in Pennsylvania too, but not Pennsylvania over there in Washington. No. Pennsylvania over there, Philadelphia. He went over there and he bought one signed, and he paid, like that. He paid that, like that. He paid it. And el dinero. Papi, this is the only show that's going to talk to you con la verdad en la mano, papi. There's nobody like this channel. There's nobody. What I'm going to tell you today is going to blow your hair back and knock your socks off. I'm telling you, it's going to blow your hair and knock your socks off, ladies and gentlemen. Kino is the hardest, social media worker there is, ladies and gentlemen. What he does for you guys for free is unbelievable, papi. What we do for you guys is unbelievable. Somebody got to tell you, Grande told you that he remembers when I said they took him to the, U.S. Open, the United States Open in tennis, and he brought his whole entourage. Everybody's there, because Rolex gave him the whole floor for him. But ladies and gentlemen, it's unbelievable. This guy it's unbelievable. Business-wise, es una jodienda. I honestly believe that those people from Rolex is special. The special Rolex booth, I'm telling you, he knows too much. The guy he's special. And these people got there early in the morning, yesterday, November the 5th. If you don't know, do you guys know about this? Do you guys know about this or no? Just tell me yes or no. Don't tell me yes because you want to tell me yes. Tell me, do you know about this already? My new glasses, unbelievable. These glasses, unbelievable. No, there you go. That's what I'm doing. No, but papi, while all of us, yes, thank you, Damon, thank you. While we were all hopping around through life, those people were in the Oval Office. Let me show it to you because we have a lot of people here and they must have missed this picture, and I got to show it to them because I like to show things, This right here, ladies and gentlemen, this right here is Rolex and Richmond together. Can you believe a political Oval Office seeing those people there? You know what that is? All those people together in the Oval Office discussing what can we do to work with you, Mr. Pennsylvania Avenue. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine they're saying, what can we do to work with you? Look at all those faces. Look at that. Look at those teams. And look at his face. It's unbelievable, that guy. Ladies and gentlemen, ese tipo una jodienda. Ese tipo una jodienda. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, he was taught very, very well, ladies and gentlemen, by his father. His father had these eyebrows that were like up here, real long. It were real long. You know what I'm talking about? If you don't believe me, you Google it. You can see his eyebrows were this long up here. The father, the one that taught him. Thank you very much for that super chat, Renato. Gracias, Renato, for a super chat. Gracias, Papa. Thank you very much for cooperating with this channel, It only brings you the best. Thank you, Papa. Un millón de gracias. Un millón de gracias. He was taught by his father too much, Everything you see is business, son. Everything you see is business, son. No matter what is business, even the Oval Office is a business. I've been telling you for the last 4 months. that the whole world is a business, ladies and gentlemen. It's all business. And I'm going to tell you something. This is going to cost. This is just my theory. This is my theory. My theory. And maybe one of you would agree with me. Maybe you won't agree with me. But to work with that guy, Bobby, you're going to have to, do him a favor as well. Nobody wants to play with that 39% tariff, especially Rolex guys. The rest son unos mojones voladores. But the king of watches son una jodienda. You can't play with that. You can't play with that. And I think if they're coming into agreement, because he is, to be honest, you have a narcissist, a good narcissist, and a bad one. You have like that, there's no free lunch, papi. There's no free lunch. Coño, there's no free lunch. There's no free lunch, Christopher. There's no free lunch, papi. No hay almuerzo de gratis. Nada en la vida es de gratis. Don't let nobody ever tell you this for free. Free does not exist. In his mind, nothing is for free, papi. Nothing is for free. Esto for free. This you get for free. This. But nothing is for free, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm telling you, man, it's on the table. It's on the table. Let me not ignore this person. Christopher, thank you very much for that super chat. It really means a lot to Sweet Kikino and to all of us in this channel. All of us appreciate what you're doing. We appreciate everyone that gives us a nickel. We appreciate that, right? Muchísimas gracias, Christopher. Gracias, papá. Thank you very much. We are telling you, like you guys know, because you guys are smart. This is no free lunch here. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, it's crazy. I don't know how they're going to do this. I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know if it's going to be something very micro. Gracias, papá. Thank you, Christopher. I don't know how they're going to do it. It's going to be micro. You know how it is. But ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how to tell you this, guys, because, I don't, Christopher, gracias, papá. Chris, thank you. I don't know how they're going to do it, but like they say, there's no such thing as free lunch. There's no such thing as free lunch, and they're going to have to accommodate what he's asking for. This gentleman has been asking for quite a few things throughout his first term and now his second term. And ladies and gentlemen, maybe the shutdown is going on his 30. I don't know already. Una locura. Kashi's going to go over. I think it's going to go over, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to go over. Kashi's going to go over, ladies and gentlemen. But they're going to have to, ladies and gentlemen, somewhere, they're going to have to put the name. Nobody rides for free, Papi. Nobody. A luxury gentleman, And I was talking today, having a little coffee, about this. And they told me, man, if that happens, this will be crazy. And you know what I replied back to them? I said, if the conjure, the conjure, you know what the conjure is? The conjure dial. The conjure dial. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? The Cartier dial, if they did it, why can't they do it? They even did it with Domino's Pizza, What's the big problem, You get a Rolex with a Domino's Pizza, So, this is crazy, ladies and gentlemen, Exactly. Thank you, Achilles. Yes, So the Conjure Dow, the Tiffany Dow, the Cartier Dow, and so on and so on. The underlying Dow, all this good stuff, ladies and gentlemen. ADs do not have inventory. Okay, ADs don't have inventory. So what I'm trying to say is, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if it's going to say exactly. I don't know if it's going to say the 47 Dow. I don't know if it's going to say 4, 7, or no, 4, 5, 4, 7, and you know, with the initials, you know, PT, you know, PDT, you know, I don't know. You don't know what's gonna happen there, ladies and gentlemen. You don't know what's gonna happen there, but I am pretty sure that somewhere something will come out with something special to his likings. You know that he's pushing watches all over Bookface and all over the gram. He's pushing watches all over the place. You know, his watches, you know, ladies and gentlemen, they have their one of those ugly fossil tourbillon, you know, Pennsylvania Avenue watch that they say is gold. It costs $100,000. $100,000. But we're talking about no other than the king of watches now. We're talking about the king of watches now, ladies and gentlemen. And he just might get that 4547, you know, with the initials, you know, under somewhere. I don't know what watch he likes. I don't know what is his preference. But I'm going to stop there to ask all of you. To ask all of you. Chapter 1, Papi, chapter 1. Do you think I'm heading somewhere with this? You think I'm onto something? Do you think I'm onto something, you know? Do you think that could happen? Do you think those people from Geneva, you know? Oh, yes, you are. Do you think those people from over there, from Geneva, you know, they came down with all the attachés, you know, all the attachés, they were all walking, you know? They were all walking. And ladies and gentlemen, you know, for crumb bums, okay, for crumb bums. And ladies and gentlemen, those people over there, some of them were so nervous, you know, over there. There was a guy even had like something happened to him over there, you know, over there. You know, I don't know if you saw it or not, you know. I don't know if it was the same time, but something happened. But ladies and gentlemen, those people, when they were in that meeting, they were like this in the meeting. Watch me. They were like this. They wouldn't even move. You know, it has to be impressive, you know, to have two monster mammoth colossals sitting in front of you and you're the boss man. You're the boss man. You coming to see me to ask me, Mr. President, what can we do to accommodate you that you can help us with Rolex in Richmond? Allegedly. Everything that I'm saying allegedly. Let me give you the signs. Allegedly. Allegedly. What can we do, you know, to comfort you? You know? You know, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying, Thurston. You know what I'm trying to say. You know, what can we do? And that got us to mess around to him to get a time machine with some kind of a reference that's in that watch. Puppy, that's gonna be unbelievable. And the king of watches can do whatever they want. You know, if he pushes him too much, because you don't fight with money. You don't fight with money. You don't fight with 39% tariffs. You know? And you got the other umbrella, you know, Richmond. That has Vacheron, Piaget, Cartier, Roger, you know what I'm saying? Montblanc. Papi, these are logos. These are brands. They're monsters. They're monsters. And this man probably said, you know what? We're going to help you out with this. And I would like you to do me a sample with my 4547. It sounds pretty good, 4547, you know? You know, we can't put this, you know, a two-way. It's a two-way, papi. You give me a little, I give you a little, you know? Tú sabes. You're right, Chris. You're right. You're right, Christopher. So I honestly believe, ladies and gentlemen, that because they say that they left and with very happy faces, you know? And I want you to know something, ladies and gentlemen. I got all this information by no other than, and you know, they have chosen us number one, you know, the number one watch market update show in the world by no other. I got all this information by no other. Don't forget this. I got it by no other than Fudinki. Fudinki was the one that gave me all this information. Unbelievable, Achilles. We said it at the same time. Fudinki gave me all this information, and he told me to, you analyze it and you dissect it, dissect it and help your small community of organic watch channel subscribers, loyal subscribers, because you need to know this. But I'm gonna ask you guys a question, and a real serious question. Do you think something like that can happen for real? I mean, I got my answer, but I want to hear you guys. I want to hear the yes, no. I want to hear the no, 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 no. I want to hear that. I want to hear the yes. Do you think it can happen for real? That they can put something there like that? 100%. Wow. Yup. Wow. 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 But what is this? You guys are going bananas. Wow. Oh, yeah. Wow. David, tú también, David. I didn't think you were going to throw yourself on that one. Papa, this is crazy. 1,000%. Yes, Renato también tirando palo. Boom, coge. You think so then, huh? So you think that I was onto something. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I was stretching my head today. I said, this guy, 3 medal variation. Wow, 3 medals. Wow. I don't know, man. I'm telling you. A CNC machine, right? A CNC. Because, man, they came with everybody. And let me tell you, no kidding aside, man, you don't want to play. People don't play with money, man. People don't play with money. People do not play with money. Por el dinero el mono baila. Por el dinero el mono baila. There's a saying to us Latin people. Debería hacer estos vídeos en español. Está bien, para la próxima, papi. Seguro que sí, papá. Listen. Us Spanish people, we have a saying in Spanish que por el dinero el mono baila, and it goes for money the monkey dances. You know the monkey that he dances. They have a little leech, like that. Por el dinero el mono baila, papá. Wow, I'm telling you, and they're not playing around with that. They came to give him what he wanted. Let's say that he's gonna give him a little. Exactly, you said it, Damon. Exacto, and we know exacto grande. So I honestly believe they came prepared. We're gonna give this guy, let him lower this tariff, let him lower the tariff, and we're gonna give him in return. We're gonna give him a return. How do you call that? And Christopher, Mr. Donut, Thurston, Howell, Mike. How do you call when you put something, in a watch, like a memory of you or something, a name of you, How's that called? That has to have a name. That watch has there, el presidente del 2024, it has to have something. I forgot. An engraving, but a momento, a tribute, that's it. A tribute, something has to, that's the name, something. It has to be un tributo para Pennsylvania Avenue, que es una jodienda, un momento, okay, exacto. Something has to be there, and they left. They tell me, ladies and gentlemen, I said it wrong. They told Sweet Kikino that they all left, all of them. Richmond, Papi, if you guys don't know who Richmond is, Papi, Richmond has Bestia, theirs, Cartier, Piaget, Roger Dubris, Montblanc, Van Cleef & Arpels, Lang & Son, Jaeger, Boumacier, Bacheron Constantin, Peter Millard, they got the ropa. I love their shirts. Very nice shirts, very cotton, beautiful. And ladies and gentlemen, Watch Finder, the ones you guys see over there, on YouTube, they were sitting there. What do we have to give this man to make him feel comfortable? Un tributo, a tribute. Un tributo, algo, a moment. Somebody said a few words there, and I think it's going that way, ladies and gentlemen. Papi, you got to admit something. You got to admit, ese tipo es una jodienda. Ese tipo es una jodienda para el negocio. This guy is something special for business. What I say in Spanish, I'm going to say it in English, right? You just wait a couple of seconds, and I'm going to repeat it to you in English. He's a very shrewd man, a very, very shrewd man. No matter what you think about, coño, lo que ha dicho ese hombre. Diablo, guys, what this guy just wrote down, I'm telling you, you need to look at it. Grande, right now, just wrote something that to us Latin people is something big. Coño, un palo esto. Quiero dame la pastilla verde. Me siento enfermo. Porque Grande puso una palabra ahí brutal. Es un pingú. Coño. Unbelievable, guys. I'm excited, ladies and gentlemen. You don't understand what he wrote down. You don't understand what he wrote down. You don't understand. Let me drink some of this jungle juice. Comes to business 45, 47. Hung like a horse. Unbelievable, bro. Ese tipo es una jodienda. You know, Rolex said, listen, prepare the sample watch. He's going to get #1 prototype and get it ready for him. From the plane, sitting down from the plane, you prepare the watch. This is the watch we're going to give him. Yes, a 40 millimeter. Prepare it. It's for him. It's the prototype. Blah, 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 blah. This, and this. When I get there, when the plane gets over there, I want to see the prototype dial. Ta! You don't know about this. No, you don't know about this. You just want to continue hearing the war is fat bastard, the hungry hippo Mr. Magoo, the two toddler body brothers that have been selling you raffle tickets and sweepstakes to give you this so they can continue riding around their red go fast car, you know, their speedboat, right? That's what you want. And the other one over there selling those tickets for $9.99. You know, the war is fat bastard. That's what you want to hear. You know what I'm trying to say. Wow, 43 millimeter con complicaciones. Ese tipo es una jodienda. Thurston, you're the best. I like that one. Complications. Todo el tiempo. Vamos allá. Ladies and gentlemen, you get your hands on one of those watches, those things are going to go to the moon. To the moon. Papi, this is, Papi, the closest that we've done something like that with a president is that guy, you know, the Dwight Eisenhower, you know, and it wasn't even a Rolex. It was in the 50s. It was a full 18 karat. I don't know, it was 14 or 18, like a date just, you know, they gave him, you know, at that time. That was the closest, but it didn't say there, you know, Dwight Eisenhower or none of that stuff. No, they just, here, you wear this watch. But to say a name, 18 karat, I just said it. That's right, Papa. You know what's to say your name in there? Papi, that's forever. And this man, let's be honest, este tipo es un pingú. Did I say that? Este tipo es una jodienda. There will be lines of lollipop suckers, window lickers, you know, possum kickers, cow tippers, sandbags, crumb bums, you know, ready to give away their children's tuition money for that kind of a timepiece, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget that you heard it in this channel, ladies and gentlemen. I give it to you for free, Papi. I give it to you for free. I keep on teaching you for free. I'm telling you, I keep on teaching you for free. I told Sweet Kid Kino we got to give him this information because you know what? Now watch. When I said this information on a live stream, I mark my words. On Scout's honor, slowly but surely, if not by tomorrow, you'll be seeing people talking about they're going to make the Rolex Rio President watch with 45, 47. They're going to make it. You're going to see it. You're going to go, oh, man. Juan Felipe Nieves said it to us live, and I was there when he said it. Then I'm going to tell you, no tienen la capacidad, son unos lambones. They don't have the capacity. You know what capacity they have? They have a capacity to flim-flam you out of $10 for a raffle sweepstake ticket. But not me. I give it to you for free. I give it to you for free. Hey, guys, how you like my glasses? It's unbelievable, these glasses, you know? I got them today. I went to see the doctor, you know? Told me that I lost a little vision there, so he gave me these special ones, you know? I think they look pretty good. What do you think? I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. But, guys, I'm going to give you a watch market update that some of my organic watch channel subscribers requested, you know? Patek will have the new dial. Wow. Okay. Wow. Christopher, you think so, huh? Wow. Okay. Wow. Thank you. Thank you very much, luxury gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you guys for that. Thank you for the kind words. So I'm going to give you a watch market update because I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, like Grande told you, I spoke about this like in 2 different live streams regarding Rolex, the king of watches, what they were doing in the baseball game that this guy was playing. And this guy plays, he plays a good tennis game. He plays a good baseball game, a good football game, and he got him. I'm telling you, he got him, bro. He got him, Mike. He got him. Mike, he got him. Mr. Donor, he got him. Mr. Donor, he got him. I'm telling you, he got him. I'm going to give you something like that. We will get them what they want. Exactly. That's it. It's the only thing. It's the only way. Christopher, this guy's a monster. He's just looking, Now, my question again to all of you now is, we had a 31, 30, or 9. 31 with a 7. It was like a 39%, right? Let's say that he did make a deal with them, make me a watch with my, with my signature, with my number as a president. He's going to have to still charge him some kind of tariff. Will you think so? Will you think that he would still, charge them some kind of a tariff? Bobby, this line here is the monster. This is the monster right here. Richmond and Rolex, But Rolex is the king and Richmond is right behind him. Come with us. You come with us. Do you believe that he is going to charge him a tariff, or it's going to be a free lunch? No tariffs. Wow. He would just lower the tariff. Secret tariff. I like that one. Secret tariff. I like secret. They're not even going to voice it out. Yeah, I do believe that they have to not forget. Grande. Okay, of course, tariffs. No free lunch. Okay. So we said already it was a 30. Let's round it off to a 30%. What is he gonna charge you think? I think they're gonna charge him for that a 20. Wow, Thurston, you went deep, man. Thurston, you went hard on them. 20%. Even with the momentum of wow, que monstruo! I can't believe what you gotta see what Mr. Evil just rolled down. Oh my God. And he's gonna get profits from there. He has them by. Que bravo son, coño, que bravo. My God, you guys are on point. I'm telling you, you guys are helping me out. I'm going to repeat all this. I'm going to repeat the one that Thurston wrote down. I'm going to repeat the one Dr. Evil wrote down that he said he's going to get profits. It's all business for this guy. It's all business. And I believe it's going to go on a complication watch. I believe it's going to go on a complication watch. I believe so, guys. I really do. Wow, man. I got it. Wow, I transfer. Bravo, grande. You're on fire today, Papa. You're on fire. Wow. Unbelievable. You left me homeless. Dr. Evil, you left me. Me dejaste asustado. Thurston, I'm with you guys. Of course, they will have to tariff. His connection will be distribution from now on. So then you guys are saying that he has them by the, right? You're saying that he has them by the, you can't do nothing about this. Your mind's now. Papi, nobody will go there. Nobody. Not that Terry Stern from Patek, not AP. Esto, papi, nada más. Those, I'll take care of those. Lo tiene grande los huevos. Tiene grande los huevos, papá. Tiene grande los huevos. Wow, this has been a good show. I mean, you guys are giving me a great show because I'm part of the show. I'm enjoying you guys. On what happened yesterday, the U.S. Supreme Court allowed that will be drawing the time, but they will still kiss. Look what Christopher wrote down. Oh my God, you guys are on fire, man. This is culo. You guys are killing me. Wow, man. Tomorrow, everybody's going to be talking about this. They're going to make a video like this one, and you're going to go like this to them. "Ah, we knew it first than you." Oh, my God. Let me get... Gene, is this... I'm telling you, Papi, this is how it is. It's all a business. Everybody is sleeping in the corner. We don't have time to sleep, you know? There's no time for sleeping, you know? We don't sleep. We think the whole day how to bring you what's happening out there. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to put a straight face. Who's kneeling? That's right, Papa. The Papi están, mira, ready? Don't move, Papa. Don't move. Don't move. He has them. I see lo tiene, mira, bien duro, real hard. And he ain't like, Papi, he's going to be there for just one term. And he's going to do it his way. That's all. No, thank you very much, guys. Thank you so much. Let me give you a watch market. It's going to be a real small one. It's for some special organic watch channel subscribers. So here it goes. All right, guys? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you about the Patek Philippe Nautilus two-tone rose gold with stainless steel with a 40.5 millimeter casing, the 5980. 5980 has a retail price of $78,070. $78,070 is the retail price. Don't pay for that watch. And I'm talking about you do whatever you want. It's your money. With the blue dial, it has a blue dial. Do not pay for that watch. 5980, two-tone. You know, this in my time and many other times, a two-tone watch, at least to me, was considered a dog. Or I can say a dog with fleas. It depends what watch brand it is. Since it's a Patek, we will call it this. This is a dog. You know, it's not stainless steel and it's not rose gold. It's just two-tone. You know, it's está en el medio. You know, of your buttocks. You know, one buttocks, two buttocks, and then you have the here. Está en el medio. You know, buena mierda. So basically, we will call it a dog. Wow, somebody said $98,000. This is somebody that knows. This is Mick. This is Doc Mick out of Florida. And I'm going to tell you, Doc Mick out of Florida, do not pay for that watch more than $95,500. And all right, there's one. One right there for you. One. Look at that. You said 95. I said 95.5. Don't do more than that, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the second one, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about the Rolex stainless steel Yacht Master with a blue ceramic bezel, you know, white dial, 44 millimeter. Unbelievable. This watch, you know, they retired it. It became a dog with fleas itself. You know, it's big. It's, you know, it's unbelievable. Reference number of this watch is 116680. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't have time for retail prices. You know, I don't have time today. You look it up. I gave you the reference. You do that part. But ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want. It's your money and you do whatever you want. But do not pay for that watch. Do not pay for that watch. Don't get scared. It's just money. Don't pay for it more than $13,500 and dumping. Dumping. Kino, empújalo para atrás. Cabrón, voy a destruirlo. Lo voy a destruir. Echa para atrás. Aguántame, Kino. Kino, jálame, jálame, jálame. Dup. 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 Se me odió el elbow. Dumping again. Suéltame. Suéltame. I'm not playing around today. I'm for real, ladies and gentlemen. I'm for real. I'm just letting you know what's going on. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for a stainless steel Rolex Explorer, you know, 42 millimeter, black dial with an orange hand, I'm telling you this for your own good. Don't be dodo birds. This is a beautiful watch. It's an Explorer. You know, black dial, orange hand. Do not pay for that watch. You do whatever you want. It's your money and you do whatever you want. But don't pay for that watch. Don't pay more than $9,200 and dumping. 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 Dumping again. Tú estás jodido, papi. Thurston Howell III, thank you very much for that. Thank you, chat. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart, papi, for supporting the channel. Gracias, papá. Fuerza. Fuerza a los amigos míos. Fuerza. Opus and Time Watches. Opus and Time Watches. Unbelievable, this channel. Unbelievable. Thank you very much, Mr. Thurston Howell III. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a watch here from a very special organic watch channel subscriber of mine. We don't say names here, but we're going to give them this, you know, this watch market update. ladies and gentlemen, this is a Rolex. This is a Rolex yellow gold Jubilee bracelet. Rolex yellow gold Jubilee bracelet with a green. I believe this is the most beautiful green dial there is in the watch game right now. Out of all the green, you know, I always look at the Rolex Hawk, you know, the green one. But this green dial is, okay, you like the hombre, okay, papa. Okay, you like the hombre and the date date, okay. This one is the Sky Dweller, 42 millimeter yellow gold Jubilee bracelet, not oyster, Jubilee, ladies and gentlemen. You know, if you're looking for this watch, the reference number is the 336938. Ladies and gentlemen, 42 millimeter. Do not pay for this watch. Do not pay for this watch more. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, the reference number is the 336938. 336938. Don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want with your money. It's your money and you do whatever you want. But don't pay for that watch more than $65,500 and Dopping. Do whatever you want. The watch market is dead. Get it through your head. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a watch here. It's a special watch for a special collector. This is the Rolex Date Platinum. Rolex Date Platinum. Reference number 218206 with a black dial. 41 millimeter. Unbelievable. Unbelievable watch. You know, platinum, you know? Unbelievable. To be honest, ladies and gentlemen, to let you all know, this is my favorite, you know, favorite size date president, the 41. I love the 41. I think it's an unbelievable watch. I think this watch is, you know, undervalued. I think this watch, I don't know what happened. It was a very short, you know, it wasn't a real long run. You know, they said, get out, we take it out, you know, has the sandwich, you know, looking dial, you know, bezel. I think it's a beautiful watch. But this is the platinum, 41 millimeter with a black dial. I'm going to tell you the retail price of that watch, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you, at that time, it was some big money for this watch. They were asking $63,250. $63,250. And this watch, for whatever reason, it never took off. And I believe this person is looking at this watch and he would like to probably purchase this watch, you know. You can find this watch in yellow gold and white gold. You can find it for under 20s, you know, 29, 28, 27, that type of number. You know, I even saw them at 26, you know, it was dead in water, but not to me. I think it's dead, you know, but it's good to buy because I think it's an unbelievable watch, you know, unbelievable watch. And I'm going to tell you, the Trump model, 4547 off catalog, 350,000. Diablo, brother. Qué locura. It can happen, guys. It can happen. Let me go back with this date, platinum, black dial. Don't pay for this watch. I mean, you do whatever you want. If you're looking at it, you know, at the 1700, at the 1719, you know, all those places, the Finder watch, whatever, don't pay for that watch more than $43,000. Don't pay more than $43,000. And we want a full set. If you don't get a full set, you don't want that watch for $43,000. You don't want it for $43,000. You don't want that watch naked. You want it with all the bells and whistles, all right? You want it with all the bells and whistles. I hope this helps you out. I don't want to tell you what it'll cost if you get it without, you know, all the bells and whistles, because I'll scare you. I'm telling you, you got to get that watch if you're going to get it with everything. It's a platinum. It's an unbelievable time machine. It's a 41. Beautiful. And ladies and gentlemen, this is my last watch market update of the evening. I hope you guys have enjoyed this show as much as I have enjoyed it. I really have enjoyed this watch market update show. Our next watch, ladies and gentlemen, is a Patek Philippe Aquanaut. The Patek Philippe Aquanaut, 5167 rose gold. 5167 rose gold, 40 millimeter, you know? Black rubber, black dial. Does anybody know what price I'm going to tell you for that watch? Does anybody know? Just tell me, does anybody know? Nobody knows? Nobody wants to throw a number? Throw a number out there. Throw a number. Nobody knows. Okay, here it goes. Nobody knows. This is it, the last one of the evening. Don't pay for that watch. And I mean, don't pay for that watch. Don't pay more than $82,000 and dumping. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's my Watch Market Update show for this evening. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned something. Please put all this to good use. And ladies and gentlemen, all kidding aside, those were my beliefs on what I believed always that he had in mind to do with, Rolex, the king of watches. You put my number somewhere, my name, my initials, we got a deal. Well, I'll charge you a 15, 14, 13%, hush, hush, y más nada. All right, guys? Guys, thank you once again for all your support. All of you, everybody that was here, all of you, thank you so much for all your support. On behalf of me and Sweet Kid Kino, we say take care and brush your hair. Good night, boys. Take care. Oh!